Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live event entitled Life Redefined, an online film discussion with our young adult brain tumor survivors. This amazing event has been generously sponsored by Selectpath Professional Financial Services. We can't wait to connect with you through our Facebook chat. My name is Todd Gould, and I am the Information and Support Services Manager here at Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada. Joining us throughout the Facebook Live event is Dr. Mike Lang, who is a researcher, film director, producer, and digital storytelling specialist. And our special guest today is Melissa MacKenzie, who has been an amazing advocate in supporting those who have been impacted by a brain tumor diagnosis, and most recently developed a website called inspiringtoaspire.com. Thank you both for joining us today.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Todd.
Thank you so much.
So good to see everybody.
Excited to
Yes.
share our fourth story of the week, and what I love about all the stories are how unique and personal they are. And you sort of get to really know each other's personality through the story. And I feel like, we really get to know Melissa through her story and her personality. But there's also some really awesome, deep themes in there, right? And in particular around identity, which is something that I think everyone can struggle with at times, but especially when you've been diagnosed with some type of brain tumor. So Melissa, I'm super excited to chat with you afterwards, but let's jump right into her story. So here we go, Melissa's story.
For just over 10 years, I worked in long-term care in the programs department. I assessed all the residents that came in on their social, emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual needs and provided those programs. I loved what I did. I love helping people. And just like that, over a decade working in my passion, in 2011, I had emergency surgery to remove a brain tumor. I could no longer work, but I cherish precious memories. I'll never forget Edna. Although advanced Alzheimer's, she was still mobile, still verbal, and so sweet. Thinking about Edna reminds me of some really important tips from surviving from a brain tumor. "Hello, where do I go?" Edna would ask every 15 minutes. "Hey, Edna," I'd greet her with mutual enthusiasm. "Down the hallway, right there," I would point. "Thank you," she'd say, and I looked back at doing my paperwork. She approached again. "Excuse me, where do I go?" leaning towards me. "Oh, hi, Edna. Yes, that way." I pointed with a smile again. I was almost finished my paperwork. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, she'd come circling around the nursing station again. "Hello, where do I go?" "This way, Edna." I had finished my paperwork, finally, and I walked Edna over to the piano. After I clumsily hit a couple of keys, the most amazing thing would happen. Edna would put both hands on the piano and she played beautifully. So many beautiful moments of Edna playing piano for the first time. Because of where my brain tumor was located, it affected the coordination of my right side. So I had to learn how to walk again and switch from being right-handed to left-handed. Also, I had a stroke during surgery, which affects my left side, making it feel numb all the time. I also had full head and spine radiation because it was discovered that a piece of the brain tumor broke off the back of my head, went all the way down my spine to my tailbone and slowly started to grow. This has occurred to only 7 people in the entire world. I'm so grateful for all the years before and after the brain tumor to making a difference in the lives of those who need it the most. I'm collecting and sharing tips for brain tumor survivors, loved ones, caregivers, healthcare members, anyone at inspiringtoaspire.com. You see, I lost my job, but not my identity.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome, Melissa. Man, there's so many different things we could talk about in there. But I think one thing that really resonates with me is just the way that you tell Edna's story and then relate it to your own, right? And how, she was still Edna. She could still sit down and play beautiful music. And you're still Melissa, even though, there's been changes in your brain, right? Because of the tumor and the treatments and everything. And so, yeah, it really resonates with me. I think that's something that probably a lot of people who face brain tumors wonder about. And through your story, I think we get a clear picture that you're still Melissa. You're still that person, even if there are changes. Yeah. Awesome.
I have to say, Michael and Todd, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me putting this together. I've told my story many times. It's been 11 years now, but not like this. And a special thank you to Todd because of the mic drop at the very end. This video was a reminder. It was a kickstart for me to remind myself, especially after COVID, for life purpose. So that mic drop that Todd helped me realize what I said. We were talking behind. I was having a hard time putting the video together and I was falling behind and all this stuff. And Todd and I were talking, and then he said, whoa, slow down. What did you just say? I said, well, and I was venting, and I said, well, yeah, I lost my job, but I didn't lose my identity.
Yeah.
And that was the mic drop.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, how we all, like all brain tumor survivors, they struggle with that identity because it impacts so much of who we are physically, emotionally, cognitively. There's nothing that this doesn't touch. It's our identity. It's our essence of ourself.
Absolutely.
As Melissa, like you said, I went from right-handed to left-handed. I had a stroke, and then all that stuff, you had to relearn how to walk, and then you had full head and spine radiation, and it's just like, this has no doubt impacted you and has changed you, but it's not going to change who you are because nothing can change that.
Yeah.
Todd, I like that you brought that up because years ago, my friend Val said to me, I was having a really hard time coping with it. And she said, Mel, you are not your brain tumor. A brain tumor happened to you.
Right.
You know what? I need to have that. I have to have that reminder every once in a while because I tend to forget that when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling depressed, dealing with life as it comes and goes. It's not fair. And sometimes it's amazing, but I need that reminder that I am not my brain tumor. So more so flipping it on its head of how can I help other people?
Yeah. And I mean, that's something, I wanted to ask you a little bit about. I mean, one of the ways that it seems like you have sort of, help others, but also sort of make sense of your experiences is through humor. And I got to say the dancing grandma, that's like my favorite part of the story. There's the dancing grandma there. And anyways, what would you say about that aspect of your story and, how you use humor to sort of connect with that brain tumor experience?
Well, one thing is that humor is not for everybody. Everybody copes differently. For me, it just so happens to be humor. So, for example, I tried stand-up comedy recently. And the part where it says in the video, Edna played the piano for the first time?
Yeah.
Every day she did that. When I did stand-up comedy, I said, you know what? I can tell you the same joke every day and still laugh at it because I'm telling you for the first time. And
yeah, there we go. Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely that, but also making sure that it's not a scapegoat or a way to deny the actual feeling.
Yeah. You see that in the way that you're choosing to, with the website and the memes and the jokes and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Great. Well, I wanted to throw it over to Todd one more time. Todd, was there anything in particular that stood out from you, apart from what you already mentioned in Melissa's story?
Just those, those tips and tricks that that you said, the managing expectations and taking things day by day. I think that resonates with our listeners here as well too, because that's the thing you have to do when a person is diagnosed with a brain tumor. At least in my experience, when they start thinking too far ahead, when you start looking at 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, that anxiety and that pressure builds, and it's like, well, let's just let's think about the space you're in now. Are you safe? Are you secure? What is tomorrow like? What's the next 24 hours like, or 48 hours like? What can you do to bring joy in that space and time, instead of thinking that's far down the line? And that's what a lot of brain tumor survivors and caregivers and anyone with a chronic health condition tend to do, because it just brings that person into that space right then and there, and we're okay.
I think it's key to focus on what can you do now, not what can't I do anymore, because trust me, I lost almost everything. But the whole idea of focusing on what can you do.
Totally. Yeah,
man, what a great idea to think about. Okay, what can I do in this moment? It's going to look different, but what can I do? And I think, man, what a wonderful idea to sort of end our time off here with that. So Todd, I'll pass off to you to wrap us up here.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Melissa. I once again, I really appreciate how you take those experiences and continue to use them to inspire others. I really appreciate the time, and thank you, Mike, once again. And thank you all for joining us below in the Facebook chat. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone. It's great
Don't
to see you.
Don't forget to like my socials. Woo!
Yeah. All right.
Good.